Okay, I'm gonna start streaming. All right, darling.
Okay.
So welcome, good afternoon guys. Today is the 27th of April 2022 and it's just coming up to 2 p.m. here in the UK. So we start off with, actually I better check that the sound is working and everything's working, just bear with me just a second. Audio is working and video is working. Cool, yeah, good evening Aussie Crypto, how you doing, man? Thanks for attending again. Right, so we start off with the crypto heat map, and you can see that there's a little bit of a relief bounce here, just nothing special, just about 2% or something like that. And there's a few coins, there's other coins there slightly higher, but the great majority of the crypto market is in relief bounce mode. I mean, there's a very few exceptions, with the micro caps being more on the 5-6%. But the great majority of it is 2% sort of relief bounce, really, which is not surprising to see considering the massive pullback that we had yesterday. Looking at the stock market, you can see that the great majority of it is in the red, and it's quite significant as well. It's all above 3%. Tesla taking a big dump here at 12%, which is massive in traditional finance world. And yeah, like pretty much across all sectors, all in the red. So focusing on Bitcoin for a second, we've got the options expiry coming up on Friday morning. And again, we got 1.8 billion notional value of that. The put to call ratio is 0.6, and the max pain price is at around about 40k. This started off as 42, and then it came down to 41. And now it's a 40k max pain price. All this means is that if the price is at 40k on Friday morning, most of these options will expire worthless. And this tends to act as a bit of a magnet towards price. So we're currently around about $39,000, so not too far. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a relief bounce just in time for Friday morning. But this is kind of becoming a bit of a meme as everybody's paying attention to it now. So I'm not really sure if this is going to have much impact. It's only 1.8 billion, so it's not a massive expiry by any means, but it could bring some volatility. So anyway, going back to the traditional finance markets, let's just crack on. And we're looking at the S&P 500, and yesterday we had a massive pullback here. As you can see here, we were kind of rotational inside of the current year's VWAP, which is basically this squiggly line with two standard deviations, one to the downside and one to the upside. And we were kind of rotational inside it. And then yesterday we kind of lost that completely. I mean, we'd lost it the day before, but then you can see that there's a big blue candle, which basically is a high volume candle that tried to get back in it, and then there was a clear rejection there, which to me indicates that we've got rejected from this big balance area here, right? So as long as we are below that, then it continues to be bearish sentiment. We need to get sort of like above here again in order to be rotational inside of this. So additionally, not only did we lose the -1 standard deviation on the S&P, but then it dumped below the 2021 VWAP. As you can see, the 2021 VWAP is this little blue line here. We closed about there, and this is the faint blue line that you see there, okay? That first standard deviation, the +1 standard deviation, acted as support for the whole of the bull run of 2021. And now there's a market structure break, and it does look indeed like we want to go and reach lower. So what happens here now is quite simple, really. So I'm just going to delete that a second. So we either reclaim this level here, which is at around about $4,200, okay? We either reclaim this level and then try to get acceptance above this level here, which also has confluence with this low volume area here, right? This is what the bull scenario should be, right? We need to break back above the 2021 VWAP and then break back inside of the 2022 value area low, or if you like, the -1 standard deviation. It's the same thing. If we can break above this, then I think we've got a very good chance to come all the way back up to 4,450, which is basically where the current year's VWAP is, right? However, it doesn't look like it wants to do that right now. In fact, what it wants to do is that it's already a rejection here from this low volume area here, right? We are still below the 2021 VWAP, and it does look like it wants to reach lower. So if it reaches lower, it's going to drag everything down with it. There is a low volume node here that should act as support, okay? But ultimately failing that, and this is low volume here, right? This area here is low volume. If the price, you know, any bit of bad news or anything like that, if the price kind of falls below this, it will either act as support or it will travel very quickly, okay, straight through the next high volume cluster. And if it travels very quickly through the high volume, through this low volume gap here, right, and finds acceptance inside of this low volume area, meaning doing something like this, that it cannot get back above it, right, then I'm pretty sure that we're going to go and test this level here, which is the first, the -1 lower standard deviation of the 2021 VWAP, okay? And then we'll kind of be rotational inside of this here. So I don't think the bear market is over by any means. I think, in fact, that we've got a little bit more downside to come, but it really depends on what the S&P is doing. As you know, if you don't believe me, go and watch the TA update from Monday, where I illustrate exactly how correlated Bitcoin is to the S&P, and it's just undoubtedly BTC is basically a beta version of the S&P, okay, so just a little bit more volatile, but it's very closely related. So I wouldn't be surprised if this dumped a little bit more, and I'd be looking, well, the price range here, it's about 4% to that low volume node, and maybe about 7% to the bottom of that standard deviation down here, okay? So we'll have to wait and see what happens, okay? Obviously a reclaim of this is imperative, but then we've still got this problem here, all right? This low volume area here, right? So, you know, which has confluence with that standard deviation, like I said at the start, okay? So even if we get a little relief bounce here, then this could be a potential area for shorts, and everybody that was long or got trapped up here will be keen to get out of break even, and then of course that means that it's more selling pressure, and it'll push the price down. So, you know, really the bull case scenario is getting above this level here, $4,300. All right, so unless we get above this, then I don't see any change in the crypto world for now. So that's all I wanted to say here on the S&P on the traditional finance markets. So let's move on to Bitcoin, and we start off here with the context value. So basically the context value, like I explained to you guys before, I've got 4 charts here, and they're basically kind of like interconnected. They're basically exactly the same chart. It's all the coin-based chart, but I've got it on different time frames. So on the top left, I've got the daily. On the top right, I've got the 12-hour chart. On the daily here at the top left, I've got the yearly VWAP. And on the top right, I've got the quarterly VWAP, right? At the bottom right, I've got the monthly VWAP on a 4-hour chart. And then on the bottom left is basically where I time my entries, and it's just a 30-minute chart with a weekly VWAP, okay? So you can start, well, let's start with an overview, okay? So yesterday's pullback here on the daily chart, you can see that we've kind of tested the lower balance, if you like, the lower standard deviation of the 2022 VWAP, right? This green, I'll just make it like this. This rectangle that you see here, that I've just highlighted here in orange, it's very faint here, but you can see that this is basically the value area low, or the first standard deviation, -1 standard deviation of the 2021 VWAP. As you can see, this has been respected for quite some time, especially the whole of this year really. where we've been rotational inside of the 2022 VWAP, but even when we tried to get above the 2021 VWAP, we couldn't hold it, and we kind of dumped back again. Of course, when it enters the this balance area, the lower balance area, it travels all the way to the bottom, as you can see here, right? It came down, tested the edge, and then it just came down, right? So, and we kind of being stumped here at the 2022 VWAP, but we've not tested this level here yet. Okay, so I want to show you in context where this level is, right? And I'm just going to show you across all the other charts here so that you guys see in the layout, right? So now we've got that same line here from the top left hand corner, but highlighted in the other charts, and you can see that that's about $36,000. all right, so basically I don't think this dump is over just yet, right? So I want to see basically the price come down to this line here, before we see any relief bounce. Okay, I think maybe even if we do see, so this is the top left again, right? Even if we do see a little bounce here, we've still got a $41,000 very strong resistance in the form of a yearly VWAP, right? So again, let me just highlight that with a line here, right? And I'm going to make this one global as well so that you can see in the layout. And now you can see on the top right hand corner here, you can see that that line has perfect confluence right here with a quarterly VWAP, which is exactly where we got rejected, right? So in terms of the smaller time frames, as you can see here on the 4 hour, is basically the top of this range here. And so I think that even if we see a little relief bounce, then I think we most likely get rejected there. Okay, it's also got confluence with the previous week's VWAP here, right, which is pretty close at $41,000. So $41,000 remains resistance, and I think at the moment the temporary support is definitely around about 37,600, something like that, where we bounced from today. But I think that it would be a little bit naive to think that we're not just gonna take out these equal lows here. You can see here we've got some equal lows, and we've not taken that just yet. Okay, so we bounced here on the first standard deviation, the -1 standard deviation of the 2022 VWAP, but we've not even taken these anomalies. So I think we even if we rally up, I think it'll be short-lived, and I think I'm looking for longs round about this area here. That's what I want to see, the longs, and that's where I'll be bidding, if you like. Okay, so obviously if this is the line in the sand, and if we lose this $35,000, $36,000, then it's going to be a big nuke to the downside. Okay, so in the meantime, what do I want to see in terms of, like, obviously between these two levels there's going to be plenty of trades to be had, right? So what I'm looking for right now, in fact I'm going to do it here on the 4 hour chart, right? What I'm looking for right now, we got rejected off the previous month's, so this is the monthly VWAP, and we got rejected here from the previous monthly close, right? Got rejected there. So basically what I want to see for a relief all the way to 41k is that we need to break above these levels here, right? So we need to break above. So you see this confluence from this month's VWAP standard deviation, the -1 standard deviation, and the -1 standard deviation also from the previous month. Okay, so basically we need to break above 39,500, right? We need to do something like this. If we can do this and hold this as support, then I think we've got a very strong chance to come all the way to 41k. But that's really the only setup that I see for a long as an intraday play, right? For now, this is shorting rips, basically just shorting any rallies that you see on Bitcoin. You want to go short at the top and basically targeting this level down here around about $36,000. So let's make this into a bigger chart here. Sync in the layout and sync this in the layout. And let's have a look at the 30-minute chart just to make it a little bit simpler. And you can see here basically, even if we do break above this weekly VWAP here, right, which is basically where we're finding resistance right now, even if we break above this, we've still got the first standard deviation, the -1 and the +1. So the +1 of the current one and the -1 of the previous one of the week, right? So, you know, it's just, there's plenty of resistance above. I mean, you know, it's just not looking too great at the moment. So that's basically what I want to see in terms for a long position. I'd like to see this kind of break above these levels here, basically, but in terms of context, right? So that's the only time that I would consider a long position, is if we break above here, and that'll be targeting $41,000. But I could possibly be taking profits round about here, around about 39,900, 40,000, something like that, right? So I hope that makes sense. For the time being now, obviously this is a good time to be short. Let me just delete those lines for a second, right? So this is a good time to be short, and if you were short from all the way up here, then it's fantastic. Okay, this was the previous weekly VWAP. We basically got rejected from there, and we've dumped below the current one, and now we've tested the current VWAP, and of course we're getting rejected there. So if you're in a short now, I'd be taking profits down here, around about 38,300. But like I said, I don't think this level is going to hold much. Excuse me. I think, in fact, we'll probably see a break below this, and then confirm this is indeed sort of resistance, and then go much lower to that $36,000 level that we were looking for. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, and nothing's changed really in order to change my mind. Of course, if we break above this, and then we get up here, we start consolidating at resistance, and we break above it, then I'll be considering longs to 41k, and then we'll have to see what happens at $41,000 around about this level here, right? So this could be another, you know, mother of all shorts, or if we break above it, then it could be a decent long to 45k, but I'm not seeing that right now yet. Okay, so let's just move on to the macro again. Like I said, we want to take these equal lows here, which is sitting at around about $37,000. It's also got confluence here with a, that's a terrible line, just bear with me a second, round about this level here, 37,400, right, is basically, we bounced there on the edge of this high volume cluster, but I'm looking at round about $37,000. That would take out these equal lows. Okay, so but I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it's going to be a capitulation candle, and we go all the way down here to 35,800, 36,000, something like that. Okay, in terms of balance areas, let's just take the VWAP off and delete all of these lines. Well, first of all, let's put the parallel channel. Okay, so parallel channel here, you can see that it's actually you know, this is the case for the bulls, if you like, right? So we got rejected on the equilibrium, like I said, on Monday, but we've had 4 taps at the top, we've had 3 taps at the bottom now, so this is definitely a valid trend channel. And so, of course, then I could be completely wrong, and we don't go lower at all, and this is actually the bounce area, and we go much higher from here. But I'm just not seeing evidence of that in terms of context and in terms of all of the different time frames, if you see what I mean. Okay, so it's all good looking at the daily chart, but you need to get context and see what levels of resistance have you got from here until there, right? So I'm not too keen on that parallel channel, although it's a good idea to keep an eye on that. In terms of the balance areas, you can see that, so you know, the balance areas, what I've got here is basically just high volume clusters. I just trade volume, right? So first we got rejected here of the lower balance, then we rallied, we went to the top, we got rejected off the top balance, and once we found, basically we came back inside of this balance, and then we got rejected off the top one, and this here is a clear rejection, right? This is basically telling you that it's like, no, we definitely don't want this. We definitely, you're definitely not getting back inside of this balance area here. Okay, so at the moment we've not tested that $39,800, $40,000 level, or sorry, yeah, $40,000 level. Okay, so even if we come and test this edge here at 40k, right, on the higher time frames, you can see this is a low volume node, so this could potentially be very strong resistance. So if we do come all the way up there, I'm still going to be stalking shorts and watching this closely, because I'll be looking at lower prices, sort of like maybe down here at first. Okay, this balance area is derived from the whole market of 2021 to now. Okay, and you can see, in fact, I'm going to adjust this slightly. The edge of the balance is right about there. Okay, so if we get acceptance inside of this balance, we could travel all the way back down to around about $32,000. Okay, low 30s, right? So that's basically what happens if the S&P does dump and we are unable to reclaim that 2021 VWAP. So I expect the price to come all the way down here. But in the shorter term frame or medium time frame, I'm looking at right about this level, $36,000 for a potential bounce. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. This is just like a macro view, if you like. You know, this could happen in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months. It depends, or it could happen really, really fast. But I'm just showing you this so that you guys get sort of an idea of where we are in terms of context. Okay, we are definitely below on this new balance area. It does look like we got rejected from the top one, so now it's just confirming acceptance, and confirming acceptance means being unable to break above this level here, which is around about 40k. If we cannot break above that, then I think we're doomed to go a little bit lower. All right, potentially a lot lower. So that's what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin. So there's nothing really much more to cover on that, other than maybe Exocharts. So let's just have a quick look at Exocharts a second. And I'm going to start with the volume profile. Let's go on to volume profile and just have a look if there's any levels there that stick out. So on the volume profile, it does show that we kind of bounced on this low volume area for now. Okay, we did leave a naked point of control at 41,500, but this is now above a low volume area. So, you know, this is resistance until proven otherwise. Okay, if we can break above 40k, then I think we've got a very strong chance to travel the whole thing between 41k and 45k, like I said on the candlestick chart, right? Between 41 and 45, which is essentially going from let me just get the pencil again. So going from here, getting acceptance, and then targeting this level here. Okay, so the whole of this balance area here, right? So that is key, basically. So just getting acceptance above 41k, and then of course we would be targeting this naked point of control, but also that low volume node here at 44, 45k. All right. So the bear case scenario, basically the scenario that I'm thinking that we're definitely, well, I don't want to be too biased, but this is the scenario that I think it's going to play out first, is that we go lower. Okay, so we've got a naked point of control here at 35,600, which adds confluence with that 36k narrative. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price come all the way down to 35k. That would take out those equal lows there, right? It would take out this naked point of control and basically get to the value area low of this composite volume profile here on the right. Okay, so this is like 9 or 10 months worth of price action. This composite here on the right. Okay, so yeah, so I think this is clear here. For me, this is more confluence. A naked point of control at 35,600 tells me that not only this could be a little bounce area, but it's definitely acting like a magnet for now. Okay, so obviously if the price comes down there, then we'd have to observe price and see how it reacts there. Okay, I would expect a bounce, but of course if it shows weakness, it can go much lower, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that, right? So there's more naked points of control below, all the way to $32,000, which is again the bottom of that high volume cluster. But we're not going to think about that just yet because we're miles away. We're about $39,000, and I'll have an TA update for you guys on Friday. So let's not think about that too much because otherwise it becomes a little bit confusing. Another thing I wanted to show you here is the monthly volume profile. Sorry, monthly TPO chart. Okay, so this area here that you see here in the center of the screen in blue, basically a value area high and a value area low of this profile. This profile is essentially a composite of the last 3 months. Okay, so with today, with this month, that's actually a 4-month composite value area, right? So if I was to merge these profiles again, and if we have a closer look of where we are for this month's chart, you can see that we basically raided the value area low, right? So it acted as support here, the value area low, it acted as support again. We properly raided it here, and we rallied from there. We went to the VPOC here, the naked point of control, or the volume point of control at 40,350, and then we dumped, right? And then once we've dumped, this is a really nice setup, and the reason I'm showing you this is because it's a little bit of a bullish setup in my opinion. So I could be completely wrong in my analysis, and this is potentially a sort of like a higher time frame setup for the bulls. Okay, but we'll have to wait and see. I doubt it very much, but it is possible. So it's important to see both sides of the narrative. So what I wanted to show you here, quite simply, is that this is a key contextual level. We rated it here again, and then we've got a little bit of a range, right? So we're trading in between these two levels here, right? And then what happens is we've got a range, the price travels in between the range, and of course all of the stops for those long positions are going to be down here. So what happens is when the market comes down, it picks up all of those stops, right, and then breaks back inside it. And this is a break in market structure. Okay, so in terms of market structure here, we've kind of like broken back inside of the value area. So potentially we could come and travel all the way to 40,500 or something like that, right? $41,000. But again, you know, it's a little bit of it's a bit of an ambitious kind of scenario. I just wanted to highlight that for you because it's important that we see both sides of the coin, right? So anyway, the 3-month composite value area low has been raided, the stops have taken, and we've raised back inside of this month's current value area, and we're still above it, right? So as long as we are above this, then I think there's a possibility that we come and close this gap here, right? So this gap basically is a large liquid candle from yesterday's dump that it just kind of like closed very, very quickly all the way down, and it left sort of an inefficiency, if you like. So it is potentially an area where we could come and revisit that 40,350, but we'll have to wait and see. I just wanted to show you that, so in order to keep things in perspective. As for today's TPO or market profile, so we've got a market profile closed below the value area of yesterday, right? So yesterday's value area low, we closed below that, and now we've broken above it, and it looked like we were one-time framing up until here. Okay, so actually, you know, usually what the 80% rule or the Jim Dalton rule means that if the market opens outside of the previous day value area and it stays for a 1 hour period back inside the previous day value area, there's a very strong chance that it will revisit both sides of the value. Well, if it does that, then it's going to go all the way up to the top here, right? So this is again the bullish case scenario, because this is the value area high up there. Okay, so as long as we are above this area here, okay, there's a strong chance that we come and take out these singles. Okay, there's a balance area here that I'm not sure if we can get past it, but if we do, there's a naked point of control here at 40,500, and also that value area high around about 40,800, which basically we left a poor high here at the top as well. There's no excess on that, and we've got some single prints above us. So this really 41k really is key in terms of resistance. Okay, so we could be potentially setting up for a very nice long here, or at least here was a good entry for a long, right? But it's not showing me the sign of strength that I wanted to see on Bitcoin, right? I want to see this kind of keep one-time framing, which is basically not taking out the previous lows, right? So you can see here we printed a low, 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 and higher lows all the way. That's what one-time framing is. Of course, here we've already have a change in dynamic there, all right? Even though it's just one TPO, it's a change in dynamic. So anyway, we've got plenty of resistance above at 39,350 and 39,000, $40,000 here, and then of course 40,541k. So that's what I'm seeing here on the market profile. We could obviously, I've already showed you on the candlestick chart where we are in terms of context. We've got all of those value areas down here, right? And unless we break above this, then I think we're a little bit screwed in order to try and get to 41k, right, to this top level here. But we'll have to wait and see, all right? So if we've got any strength and we break above it, then I'm happy to take a long scalp all the way to this level here, potentially higher. But at the moment, this is just an area to go short, in my personal opinion. All right, so there's lots of things in play, and this is a bit of an indecision time, if you like. But I'm just going with what the chart's telling me, which is lower lows and lower highs, right? So all the highs are lower than the previous ones, and the lows are, we keep printing lower ones. So we'll wait and see. Look, it does look like the market wants to rally here. So let's see if we can break above this, all right? On Mondays, just finally, just wanted to show you this. On Monday's technical analysis update, I put a little short position there with the stop just above the previous high there, and of course it did play out a little bit, right? So it played out, but it didn't get to my final target at around about $36,000. Okay, it kind of got it bounced halfway, but I'm going to leave that there because this is still a decent entry. Decent entry for a short. And I'll be looking to enter short here, okay, and targeting again $36,000 and put my money where my mouth is, effectively. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing right now on Bitcoin. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. So yeah, on the 30-minute chart, you can see here actually it's just as it's happening. This is obviously the New York session opening. Okay, we've just raided the previous resistance and we just broke above the weekly VWAP. So this is obviously a good sign, but we want to see acceptance above this level here, right? So we want to break above this level here, really. And you can see here that we've already tapped the -1 standard deviation of the monthly VWAP, right? So I might be looking for a short in just a minute and just see if we can this is definitely a good entry for a short here, but you know, because it's a very close invalidation, right? Break above this, you know, I'd have my stops very close to that. So anyway, I think that's enough for Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. On Ethereum USD, and I'm not going to do it on this chart, I beg your pardon. So let's start off with Ethereum USD. And if you guys are in the group, you know what these are. Basically, what this is a just a projection, okay, projection candles of where I see the market going, right? So in fact, let me just put that there. if the market continues to dump. All right, so like I said here, as you can see here, it's basically fall back inside of this range, come and test this edge of the orange balance area here, okay, of the higher balance at $2,900, okay, and then a rejection of that is an entry for a short, and it will be targeting much lower prices. Okay, so I think that is clear there, and that's basically, I posted that last night, and that's basically exactly what's happening right now. Okay, so obviously the candle just rallied here. Let me just put this in normal candles so that you guys can see standard, right? So you can see we've got basically yet another rejection from the lower balance, and we're seeing if we can get acceptance above the previous balance. All right, if we can get acceptance above there, then happy days. I think again the target remains $3,600, because when we enter a balance area, just like we've done here, right, it travels straight to the other side, right? So it's the same concept as the market profile. So at the moment it does look like this cannot break above it, but you know, I could be wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. We're definitely testing this area. This is potentially a great area to enter a short, okay? And the invalidation of that is us breaking above it and confirming this as support, okay? If it confirms here as support and it starts curling up, then you close your short and you enter a long position, because it wants to travel higher and it wants to go to this level, okay? That's the long position, and that's kind of like the bull view of things, right? The bear market thing, or the bear scenario, is basically we get rejected here now, okay? Even if we have a little spike up, this is just a retest of this previous balance. We get rejected and we fall back inside of this balance, right? That's an aggressive entry for a short all the way up here, right? Because we could still get rejected like we've done here from the lower balance. What I want to see is acceptance, like we've seen here, acceptance back inside of the green area, the lower balance, which is below $2,800, and then a retest of this edge here, right? Basically a large illiquid move or a high volume move into that level, okay? So if I was to do this on the 4-hour chart, let's have a look a little bit closer, right? Closer look. You could argue that this is indeed already that, right? Although it does look here, you can see we broke back inside it, we confirmed this as support, and it looks like it wants to rally. But I want to see something a little bit more consistent than just a couple of 4-hour candles, right? I want to see a daily close above here, right? So again, if it does something like this, confirms this as support, and then starts rallying, then this is the entry for a long position, okay? And the reason I say it there, and of course it looks like hindsight, you know, you can enter a long now and your invalidation is quite close, right? So it's putting something like this, right? It's a massive trade there, okay? But I want to see confirmation. I want to see basically this rally a little bit, come back, test this area, and confirm that it is indeed support, meaning unable to get acceptance below this line here, right? So that's the entry for the long position, and we go higher. The short position is exactly the opposite. It's basically we get rejected here now, right? Acceptance back inside of the green area. We come back and retest this. Okay, so we're kind of ranging in between these 2 points now, right? We fall back inside of the range. We come and test the lower side of the range, and then it dumps, okay? So that's the entry here for a short, and we'll be targeting much lower prices, like such as $2,500, $2,000, something like that. Okay, so I couldn't really spell it out for you guys, even, you know, that's basically what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. In terms of Ethereum, I think that's pretty much it. We're kind of in an imbalance area. Get acceptance above $2,900, $3,000 means that we are that we're good to go. In fact, let me just correct that a second. I've just put the yearly VWAP here, and you can see that it's very close at 2,968. So for me, the confirmation is not even down below. This would be a nice sort of like a nice aggressive entry, but really I want to see a confirmation above $3,000, okay, and then I'll be targeting $3,600 for longs, just because it could actually come all the way to this yearly VWAP here, get rejected, and then fall back inside, right? So just bear that in mind. $3,000 is the line in the sand here for the bears, and if we close above $3,000, that means we're off to the races. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing, and then yeah, that's basically it. If you're in a short position, make sure to take profits at around about $2,600, and then potentially 2,500, which is the lower edge of this high volume cluster, and then of course $2,000 is a big round number, which is all the way down the bottom there. So that's it for Ethereum USD. Let's have a look at Exocharts and spot what else can we spot there. Okay, so in fact, let's start with the volume profile. And we've taken that naked point of control here, and the market, it held up really well for Ethereum, right? So we basically rallied all the way up to the top there. Nice big red engulfing candle to the bottom, but we didn't break the previous low. We did only slightly, but we kind of closed straight back inside it again. So it does look like it wants to rally here. We've got a naked point of control at $3,100. So the scenario is that if we can break above $3,000, $3,100, then we're off to the races, and it's back to bull market for Ethereum. So we could potentially see a little short rally here up to about 3,000, 3,100 and still dump. So just be careful with that, okay? Targets to the downside, we've got 2,680 and also 2,550, which is basically some naked points of control all on the way down. So if we are to go, like I said, on Bitcoin to $36,000, then I think these targets here get taken out, okay? It does look stronger compared to Bitcoin, and I think that will be reflected on the ETH BTC chart, but we'll have a look at that in just a second. I think Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin in a big way. But anyway, let's have a quick look here. There's probably fundamental reasons for that, but anyway, looking at the chart here, we're basically back at the point of control of today's volume. It's not a volume profile, it's the market profile chart, the TPO chart. We left a naked point of control at $3,000 or 2,997, as you can see here. So yeah, this remains a strong area of resistance until proven otherwise, right? So $3,000, $3,040, something like that, right? We've also got a naked point of control at 3,086, which has confluence with that volume point of control as well. And then there's the targets to the downside, which is basically 2,600, 2,500 and 2,400. So 6, 5 and 4. I think that's it for Ethereum USD. So let's move on to Ethereum BTC. And I just want to remind you that if Bitcoin dumps, all these altcoins, including Ethereum, tend to dump as well. So don't just get fixated on trading alts if you're not paying attention to well, you can trade alts as long as you're paying attention to Bitcoin. That's basically what I'm saying, right? Because all of the TA that I do here will be pretty much null and void unless you're paying attention to Bitcoin, all right? Because if Bitcoin starts to go down, this will go down as well. So anyway, Ethereum BTC, we are above the first standard deviation of the current year's VWAP. We've bounced there a couple of times now. We've got a nice little range that we've put in here. And we're kind of trading above it, respecting it magnificently. Look, you can see that there, right? You can see how the market, you can see how the VWAP kind of raised here like this, and look at that, the first standard deviation is raising as well, and that's exactly where we are bouncing from. So at the moment this is support, and it's strong support at that. And it's just consolidating. This is just compression, right? Compression precedes expansion. So if we expand here to the upside, like I said before, $79,000, 80,000 sats, 79,000 sats is the level of resistance, right? Break above that and we've got 81,000 sats as well as the previous level of resistance. So not really much of a change in that. We're kind of just still kind of rotating inside of this range, okay? And you can just play the range if you want to trade this, right? You know that this is resistance here at this level here, and that this is support down here, right? So you just kind of like trade this range for as long as you want, or until it breaks basically. So I'm going to put another line down here just to show you that that is indeed resistance. And there we are. So basically I just see ETH BTC just moving sideways like this inside of this range until we break to either side, okay? Both sides have already been quite battered, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this break very, very soon. As you can see, this has been tested 2, 3, 4 times there, okay? And the top one has also been tested about 4 times. So at some point one of these is going to break, okay? If we break to the downside, I do expect this level here to act as support, and potentially if we go lower, then these levels here, this area here, to act as support as well. So I'm going to put another line way down here. Okay, if we break above it, like I said, the next level of resistance really is 79,000 sats. Okay, so I think that's all I've got for ETH BTC. So let's move on to the altcoins, or to the DeFi coins if you like. And we start with FODL versus USDT, and this is on OkEx. I'm going to delete those squiggles there. We're basically exactly the same thing. Nothing really much has changed, other than we're just kind of like slowly bleeding back down again, okay? Although we did seem to find a little bit of support here. So that's a low, higher low, and yet another higher low. So we could potentially see a little rally from here, all right? But at the moment we're kind of stuck in a range, and in fact what I'll do is I'll put a little range here. In fact, I'll do that as a rectangle because it's easier visibly. And there we are. We're trading inside of that one until proven otherwise. Okay. So at the moment, we've got this area here as support, which is the -1 standard deviation of that yearly VWAP, of this year's VWAP, and we've also got resistance up above here around about 16 cents, 17 cents, something like that. Okay, so basically I just expect this asset to just be going sideways like that. That's on USDT versus, FODL versus USDT on OkEx. Let's move on to sushiswap and FODL versus USDC, which is slightly different. Currently it does look like we are holding this level as support. So I'm going to put that as green, right? And I'm not sure why we're on a 4-hour chart. Let's move on to the daily a second. And you can see here from these scribbles that that's basically, well, it does look like we're kind of losing that. So I'm just going to put that as orange still. So we're kind of retracing the whole of this larger liquid move, right? So if we are confirmed below this range, then I think we're going to go to this level here, right? And then we'll be targeting, or be ranging inside of this range here, all right? If we find acceptance back above, then the next level of resistance will be here. Okay, so quite simply 3 ranges there, as I always do, right? And you can see that it's this range here, current range we're in, that's terrible. And if we break above this one, then of course this is the next range here. Alright, so quite simply that's what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so 14 cents as support and then 15 cents that should be holding as support as well, but if it doesn't, then 14 cents is the next one. Resistance will be strong around about 16 cents as well, but if we break above that, then 19.7 or 20 cents is the next level of resistance. Okay, so that's all I've got on FODL versus USDC. Let's have a look at FODL versus FODL versus ETH. Okay, not much to be said there. As you can see, we're still kind of inside of this range like I highlighted there, right? So we trade inside of this range here until proven otherwise. Okay, we break below it, then we've got this level and this level to act as support. If we break above it, then we've got this level here to act as support. So act as resistance. Okay, this is indeed strong resistance here. As you can see, is the -1 standard deviation of the current year's VWAP. So all the algorithms are trading this and unloading at these levels, which is why it's a strong resistance. But you can see that this was a previous range here, right? You can see here, right? It confirmed this as resistance, came back, confirmed this as support until we've lost it. So now it's confirming as resistance, but if we break back above it, then that's going to be the next range, okay? And we'll be trading above this level here and below this level here, okay? We'll be taking this range here. All right, we'll have to wait and see. For now, we remain inside of this one. And for that, we expect these squiggles. So nothing much has changed in terms of FODL. It does look like it's pulling back a little bit. So I'm not interested in trades at the bottom, in the middle. I'm more interested in trades at the lows or at the highs. And that's my advice to you guys. Moving on to Binance Coin, BNB versus USD. Okay, so let me just delete all of these scribbles. Nothing much has changed either. Right, other than the fact that this level here is perhaps a little bit lower here on the edge of the previous balance here, right? And we are bouncing there. So, you know, a nice big pullback here from $400 just yesterday. So it retraced the whole of this run here the previous day, and now we're kind of bouncing there. So again, just going sideways, and we just kind of like continue to go sideways inside of these ranges. Okay, so basically, let me just get all of these ranges sorted out. Where are we? Just there. Okay, so this is one range, it's about 5% range. Okay, break above that, and then we've got a little bit of resistance here, the current year's VWAP, and resistance there as well. So in fact, let me just make a little line and put that there as resistance. Okay, but yeah, essentially we are sort of trading inside ranges. Okay, so this is the range we're in. Break above it, this is the first level of resistance, potentially go above and this level of resistance as well. So if we break above this resistance, then the next level will be round about $450 here, okay? And we'll be trading inside of that range. Okay, if we break below this level of support here, then the next level, or the next range, if you like, will be that one there. Okay, so that's essentially what I'm saying right now. Okay, so 385 is support, $402 is resistance. Okay, potentially $410 as well. That's very strong resistance because it's got the yearly VWAP there as well. And like I said, the algorithms love these VWAPs. So we just have to wait and see. All right, so just take this VWAP off a second so it makes it a little bit clearer. So that's Binance versus USD. Binance versus BTC. Well, this level didn't hold as support at all, so that is now resistance, and we are back inside of that range. So if you remember, to you guys, I explained this on Wednesday, that this is the level that I was expecting to be trading in because we've broken above this previous range here, right? Of course, we've just lost that level and we're back inside of the range, right? So the range is basically down here now, okay? Like this. All right, so if even if the price comes all the way back up here to 10,100 sats, okay, if we cannot break above it, this is an entry for a short, and I'll be targeting the bottom of the range right about here for support, okay? And essentially what we'd be doing is ranging inside of this, okay? It's previous range level, put it inside of this balance area, okay? So that's essentially what I'm seeing right now, okay? So we could actually come and test that edge yet. I wouldn't take a short just yet, but confirmation basically is testing the edge and getting rejected there. That's your confirmation for a short position, okay? So Binance Coin, resistance at 10,100 sats, support at around about 9,200 sats. Binance versus ETH, not much has changed there. We're still kind of inside of the range, not interested in trades in the middle. We're kind of like keep getting rejected from the halfway point, if you like. If I was to put a little range here, you can see that the halfway point here, equilibrium, if you like, is acting as resistance at the moment. So I'm not really interested in trades in the middle. I'd be more interested if the price comes all the way down here, or if it goes all the way up to the top there. But essentially we're kind of range bound inside of these two levels. All right, break above that, and I think this is the next target, right? And the previous resistance will turn to support. So we'll be going like this. Okay, so in fact, let's put a little line in the sand there and put that as resistance and that as resistance, and then this one here as support. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense now, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that is it in terms of Binance versus Ethereum. So 1382 way is resistance, and 1309 is support. Okay, so we either range between these 2 points or these 2 points. Okay, nothing much has changed apart from the fact that it's further confirming that this is indeed strong resistance. Moving on to AAVE versus USD, and like this squiggle shows here, it's basically this here is support, this here is resistance. Okay, so we're again between support and resistance, and we're just kind of ranging. All right, so that's basically nothing to be added to the Monday's TA update. I will just confirm again that the current range is between here and here, right? So we're just going to be doing this sort of thing, right, for the time being. All right, so if you've taken a long position from this level of support, then well done. I'll be definitely taking profits at the top here. Okay, that's basically what we're seeing right now. Break above that, this is the next level of resistance. Break below that, this is the next level of support. Okay, so we'd be doing something like this, or we'll be doing something like this. All right, really quite simple. So that's AAVE versus USD. Support at $160, resistance at $192. AAVE versus BTC, we're testing that resistance yet again. Okay, so let me just remove some of these brush marks. But not all of them, because they're still very much valid. Okay, so for me, we're still inside of this range here until proven otherwise. Okay, break above that, and of course then we've got potential to be either trading inside of here. In fact, let me just do the range thing as well again. Right, or inside of these levels here. Right, if we break below this one, then of course the next range is going to be all the way down like this. All right, so we're still inside of the range. This is potentially a good entry for a short, right, as we revisit the top of that level there, and because the invalidation is quite close, which is basically acceptance back inside of this range here at the top. All right, so this could be potentially a really good short on AAVE versus BTC. I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't take this as financial advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes. All right. So anyway, AAVE versus Ethereum, we broke out of that range finally. So let me just delete that. And this range here is now, or should now be, support, right? I'm going to put that as orange because, you know, it's previous resistance. We just broke above it. I'm not really sure how long it's going to stay there. It's kind of confirmed it already, which is nice to see. So you can see resistance, resistance. We broke above it, confirmed that as support, broke below it, could not break back above it, but we did now. And in fact, it confirmed it here as support. So potentially this was a good setup for a long, and you'll be taking profits round about here, right? So if we manage to establish a range inside of this, right, then of course the price will be doing something like this. All right, so you can see that that's previous resistance. They didn't even get to that one there, and this here is previous support, right? So if we break below this level here, right, below this level here, which is around about 580 away, then that's the range that you'll be trading in, right? Break above this one, and then this one here is the range that you should be trading in. Okay, for the time being, we're inside of this range. It's as simple as that. All right. So, was it this one? No. Okay, so I think that's quite simple, really, and nice and easy. So there's not really much to update. Let's have a look at Compound versus USD. In terms of updating what we've done on Monday. Yeah, this is support. This is indeed a very good area of support here. And we're bouncing there. So just like I explained to you guys on Monday, the range is between this level of support and this level of resistance. So if you're taking these trades, right, then well done to you. I'd be taking profits right about here where this order block is, right? Take some profits halfway, but then you still be targeting this level here, right? So this is the range that you want to be trading in. Okay, we just confirmed that as support. Break above it, then this will be the next range you want to be trading in. If we, however, lose that level and we break below it, then this is the range that you want to be trading in, or potentially even this one if we go much lower. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. Compound versus BTC. Okay, so nothing really much to update on that. We're still kind of trading inside of this range here. And so this remains support and that remains resistance. Right, so let me just delete all that. This is quite messy. Okay, support and there's resistance. Okay, so at the moment we're just kind of rotating in between that. All right, we've definitely found resistance there and we've definitely found support there. So that's all it is. It doesn't need to be complicated. All right, if we lose that level there, then this level here or this area here should act as strong support. If we break above that resistance, then this here is the next level of resistance. All right, moving on to the next one, Compound versus ETH. Very much the same scenario. It does look like we've lost this level here as support. So in fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that as red now, and I'm going to delete those squiggles. So just a small update on that. Okay, and potentially this is a good entry for a short here, targeting these levels down here. So what I'm looking at now is the range to be somewhere between these two lines. Okay, so even if we kind of like go up like this, we'll have to see. This is potentially a really good entry for a short. If we break above it, however, and confirm this as support, then of course that's actually an entry for a long, and the new range will be here. Alright, fall back inside of the range again, and that's an entry for a short, and we'll be targeting this level down here. Okay, moving on to BAT versus USD. We've not quite reached that level yet there, but I'm going to delete some of these scribbles. But not all of them. Okay, so basically we're still stuck between these two lines here. Okay, so this is support, that is resistance. We didn't come quite close enough to this level here at 63 cents, right? But I expect 62.9 right now. So where is this level here? 62. Okay, so we're at 67 cents. We want to be going to 63 cents as the level of support. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. If this comes down like this, this is definitely an entry for a long position. Well, nothing is definite in trading, but you know, I'll be taking a long position at these levels, and at these levels here I'll be taking a short position or closing my longs. Okay, and essentially just trading this range sort of back and forth like that. Break above it, this is the next level of resistance. Break below the level of support, and this will be the next level of support, right about 50 cents. Okay, BAT versus BTC, it does look like we've lost that level as well. So I thought with that big pullback yesterday, it's only natural to have some of these levels break. Okay, so potentially we could be trading on the lower range now. All right, so the invalidation of that is, of course, if we break back above this and confirm this indeed as support. If it does that, then this is the next level of resistance, and this is indeed support. If, however, it breaks below it now, this could be potentially a really good entry for a short, and we'll be looking at this level here as the target. Okay, so basically trading this range here, right, between these 2 points. Right, so this is the range that we were in and that we've been in for quite some time. If we break above that level of resistance, which looks pretty unlikely right now, then this is the next level of resistance. Okay, but that's basically how I see it. Of course, that you could draw a big rectangle and just consider the whole thing as one big range, right? So you can just see this as one big massive range like that. Okay, and so at these levels you'd be looking for longs, targeting the top of the range. All right, but that's kind of like on a higher time frame, and I'm not sure that we're not about to fall out of that. Okay, so I'm giving you a little bit of a more sort of like a more granular view, if you like. Moving on to the next one, I've left a little short position thing there. Of course, that was because a couple of days ago on Monday, we kind of lost that level. That's why it's highlighted in orange. And so, of course, by leaving that, I just put my stops just above the previous high volume candle there, right? And if I'd been in a short, this would be quite profitable, just 2 days. Okay, so that's what about 4%, right? So I'm going to delete that, however. Okay, I'm still going to delete that. So anyway, this level here is now resistance. This level here is support. So essentially what we're doing is just trading inside of this range now. Okay, that's what I believe that's going to happen if the price continues. Of course, invalidation of that means reclaiming this level here, and if we reclaim that level, then this is the next target, and we'll be somewhere targeting that range there. Okay, break below this one here, and then I think we go on to the next range, of course, just like in all the other coins. Okay, it's as simple as that. Moving on to Link versus USD. So we're kind of still printing low highs and low lows it does look like it just wants to carry on doing what we've said here with this range here, right? So yeah, basically just going between these two lines here, so inside of this range, if you like. Okay, so this is resistance and this is support. Put a little rectangle there to make it a little bit easier. And that's basically the range that we're trading in right now. Okay, so when it gets to the bottom here, I'll be looking for longs, targeting this level here. If we get to the top, I'll be looking for shorts, targeting the level down at the bottom. And so it goes back and forth, and it just ranges. Link versus BTC. Now, this would have been a loser because obviously I had a long position there, and we kind of broke below that balance, right? So because we broke below that balance, that would have been a stop loss. So I don't always get it right. So we've definitely broken below this level here. So I'm going to delete that. This here should be resistance now. And it really depends on how low we go. But in terms of support, I do think that we've got potential to be ranging inside of there. Okay. So between those levels there, make it a little bit bigger like that. So 3,123, 3,300. Okay. If we lose that level there, if we lose this one, then I'm afraid the next level will be way down here at 2,750. Okay, so we'll be targeting a range down here. For now, I think we're okay, sort of like this. All right, if we break above this level here, then of course the next level of resistance will be way up here, and this be the next range. Okay, so something like so. All right, this level here should be a decent level of support, though. As you can see here, that's where we bounced before. And looking at the whole, there's that whole volume cluster there. Just because there's a low volume node, that's why I put that there. But it is a little cluster there, and basically we haven't tested that. But we've just lost an important level of support, as you can see here. Make this a little bit bigger on Link versus BTC. You can see this is previous support, and now we've just lost that. Okay, so it's a sign of weakness here on Link versus BTC, and no doubt that will now be resistance. So if the price comes all the way up to there, then I recommend you targeting that as resistance, targeting lower levels. Okay. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not take my advice as financial advice. What you do with your money is your own responsibility. I'm just telling you what I see here in the charts, okay? I'm not a qualified money manager or a financial advisor, so please do not take trades based on what I'm saying. Okay? That's basically the range that I'm seeing right now. If we break below that one, then this here is the next level of support. Link versus ETH. Wow. Link showing quite a lot of weakness. Either that or just Ethereum looking very, very strong. But we lost level on Bitcoin as well, and that looked like shit, so I'm not convinced. I think Link is just looking weak. So this now is resistance. And this rectangle and those brush marks. And now resistance as well, and so it begins. Okay, like I said to you guys, I'd highlighted this big blue box here as a bigger area of balance, and of course, if you guys were here a couple of months ago or a couple of weeks ago when I gave you this trade, right, so that this was resistance, this was acting as support, so we were ranging in there. We fell inside, we passed both levels of support, and now we're back inside of this line. and now we've fallen back inside of that one. So I think that naturally my inclination is to think that this here is the next level of support, as it does look like we've just lost that support there. So my next range will be somewhere between these two levels there. Okay, if we break above it, then these will be the next level of resistance, and strong resistance at that. If we break below this level of support, then the next level of support is way down here, around about 2,200 way. Okay, you can see here on the daily chart very clearly why I'm highlighting those levels. Okay, so overall we're in context, we're kind of in a bigger range, if you like, which is this range here, but inside that you can kind of like make out other levels. In fact, I can make out another level there, and I'm gonna do that there. Okay, so that's basically how I see it right now. All right, so that's Link versus ETH. Let's move on to Uni versus USD, and Uniswap looking weak as well. We've come all the way to the bottom of the range there, but we are bouncing at support. That's the only difference. Okay, so this could potentially be a good area for a long, and I'd put my stop just inside or below that previous wick there. Okay, and I'll be targeting something like that. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking for a long right now. This is still a support until proven otherwise. So like I said here with these two circles is basically the range that we're trading in right now. Okay, so this is resistance, this is support, and that's basically where we are right now. Break above it, this is the next range. We break below it, and this is the next range inside of this. Okay, this here should act as very strong support, this box here. Okay, so if you want to be more aggressive and this has a significant pullback, don't just go short here, okay, because this could be a bounce area. All right, so this is a good entry for a long here. It's quite an aggressive one, but the advantage of that is that you've got a very close invalidation, so you don't lose much money if you're wrong. Okay, so that's on Uni versus USD. $7.50 is very strong support, but so is $8. So just bear that in mind. And of course, $9.89, $10, something like that is strong resistance. Okay, until proven otherwise. Uni versus BTC. Now this is an interesting one. So I left that short tool there because, of course, if you could watch the one on Monday, it's got the timestamps and everything. You can see where I highlighted this. But basically, came all the way here. We got rejected. We got rejected from the top balance, and then we broke back inside of this. Okay, so I said that the edge of this balance here would be a good entry for a short. If it came here, well, it didn't. It kind of rallied a little bit, but it never got to that. And I said put the stops above the previous wicks. Okay, and so if you're in a short right now, you're probably all right, probably safe. But I would probably move my stops a little bit closer here and just close the invalidation, because actually the price has got no business going back above this area here, right? So I'm going to put a red line there. All right, so around about 2,200 sats. Okay, the price has no business going above that. Okay, and even if it does, and it goes and tests the edge of this balance at around about 2,230. I'm talking about this balance here. Okay, it shouldn't go above that. All right, so that's what I'm seeing right now, and I'd stay in this short until proven otherwise. Okay, and again, I'll be targeting this here as a range. Okay, break below it, then this will be the next range here. You break above it, and that would be the next range here, back inside of this range that we were in. Okay, that's how I see it right now. So that's Uni versus BTC, and finally Uni versus Ethereum. Okay, so it does look like a little green candle, but I mean, it's nothing significant. As you can see that on the way down, we always print green candles, right? And it still goes lower. So for me, this is not an important bounce area here. We just put a little bit more price in there just to see if there's, yeah, there's no reference in terms of, there's no points in reference because this is at all-time lows. So this is why I've just highlighted 200, 250, and 300. Right, so for some reason somebody's bidding here at the moment, but I do expect this level here to act as resistance, and the next level of support would be around about 250 way. All right, so this range here is essentially what we're looking at. Okay, break above that, and of course then we'll be targeting the range above, and if we break above that as well, then we go back into this internal range that we were on for so long, right, and we'll be targeting those levels there. Okay, but you can see this has already been tested and confirmed as resistance, and this here was support, and it broke below it, and it's not been tested yet. So it's a high probability trade that if the price does go up here, it will confirm that as resistance. Okay, and then go all the way to the bottom. That's what a high probability trade is called. It's basically the first tap once you've lost a level. Okay, so I think that is it for all the altcoins. Let's do a quick recap and go back onto Bitcoin just so that I see what's going on and see if we are indeed rallying. Flow Trading VWAP, and nah, we're just kind of like, yeah, we just got rejected from that level again, right? So even though we broke above it here, let's have a look at the 4 hour. Like I said to you guys at the beginning, right? Even if we break above this weekly VWAP, we've still got this area here to contend with. We didn't even quite get there, right? So, and the price just got rejected really, really strongly there. Okay, so that's on the 4 hour chart. Sorry, that's the 30-minute chart. If we look at the 4 hour chart again, like I said at the beginning of this video, this area here is an area to contend with, right? Because of course we've got the -1 standard deviation and the previous month lower standard deviation of the monthly VWAP. Okay, and of course we couldn't get back above that. So again, it remains exactly the same thing that I said at the beginning of this video. If we can break back above this level here, right, we're with this really crazy line there, if we can break back above 39,500, then there's a strong chance that we go and test 41,000 and potentially higher, but let's just stick to 41,000 for now. And this is a nice little scalp there, but for as long as we cannot break above that, then I think we go much lower, and I'm looking at $36,000 as the next level, which is basically this level here, right? So so 37,500. I know it's not that level there at all. I was looking at the wrong chart. So let's have a look at, I'm looking at this level here, which is this point of control here, right? Right, which is 35,600. All right, got another one down here, and potentially another one here as levels of support. But I don't see that happening. I think we are indeed going to test this level here for reasons that I explained at the beginning of this video. So anyway, that is it for now. I don't want to just keep going on and on and on about the same thing. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had a I hope this helps you, put you on the right side of the trades. And like I said, actually, let me just show you something. I showed you this at the beginning of the video, the technical analysis. So that this level here should act as a good entry, should be a good entry for a short, and indeed, well, it's not perfect, okay, so you probably would have missed it by a few pounds, right? because the price didn't quite get there. 3,491, and I had it at 3,680, so a couple of $100 or whatever. But potentially I see the price now doing something like this and going to that level that I so want to see, which is $3,600. All right, so yeah, I think that's it for now. I think this is a long enough technical analysis update. I'll have another one for you guys on Friday. In the meantime, trade smart, and I hope this helps you stay on the right side of the trades. I will be posting more in the group as well in the evenings, and I will do the timestamps now so that you guys can skip to the right coin that you guys want to watch. Okay, so in the meantime, take care, and I'll speak to you all on Friday. Bye bye.